Well, tuners, spring has finally sprung, but chances are it's probably a little too wet and cold to start your garden outside, but now is the perfect time to start prepping indoors for growing season. Joining us right now is gardener Bethany Bay to help us all get started. Bethany, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, yeah, it's great. So, Bethany, I got to be honest. We got some black thumbs here, Bill and I. Can you help us turn them green?
I definitely can. I promise you, gardening is so much easier than you think. You're going to see how simple it is to start seeds inside.
That's so exciting. Bethany, in your opinion, are there some seeds that are a little bit better to start indoors as opposed to outdoors?
So most seeds work really great. I've brought some along with me that are great to start inside. We have some basil, we have zinnias, and we also have cantaloupe, which we're going to be planting together today.
Oh, exciting. Okay, so what do we need to get started?
So the first thing you're going to need is a container, and you can use almost anything as long as it has good drainage. What we're going to plant in today are egg cartons. Then we need soil, seeds, and some water.
Very cool.
So first thing I'm going to have us do is put soil into some of these cells.
All right. So I want to just fill in these little holes in the containers.
Yep, exactly. And then you just want to push down on the soil.
What's the purpose of that, Bethany?
So that is going to get the oxygen out of the soil.
Okay.
So once you have that tapped down,
Yeah.
the next thing we're going to do is make a hole to plant our seeds.
Okay.
And each seed is going to be planted at a certain depth, and that information will be found on the seed packet.
They'll always
It's
tell you.
right there?
Yeah, it's right there, Tony. Look.
Yes, it should always be on the seed packet. This is one of the best places to go for information.
All right.
So these want to be planted about a ½ inch deep.
Okay.
I just measure with my finger. So now I'm going to give you some seeds.
I get some of your seeds.
You
All
get some
right.
of these seeds,
All
and
right.
you can go ahead and put the seeds in the hole. You can plant one or two, but if you do have more than one sprouting from the same container, you're going to want to thin the seed so there's only one per cell growing.
Oh, you mean get rid of one of them?
Get red, but you know what? You can compost it,
Yeah,
and then that helps to feed your garden. So now we'll cover the seeds up. So just fill in your hole.
I did. They're both covered.
Perfect. And then we are going to water them with that watering can.
I can do that for you. All right, so now I water. How much water is too much water? Is that about right?
So you want to make sure that water is soaking all the way down through the soil. So that actually looks pretty good.
That's pretty good?
Yep. I'll do the
Yours?
Same thing.
All right.
Oh, boy. When Bethany does it, Bill, it just looks better.
It looks like she knows what
You know,
she's
I've
doing,
had a lot of
Tony.
experience, so
Yeah.
that makes sense.
All right.
Okay, so now once we have the seeds planted, how do we care for them?
So they're gonna need two main things to grow. That's sunlight and water. So if you have a sunny window, that is the perfect place for them. If your window faces south, that gets the most sun, then east and west. Now, if you don't have a sunny window, you can use indoor grow lights.
Oh.
The next thing you wanna do is make sure that they stay consistently moist but not too wet. So what I like to do is just every day, I stick my finger in. If it feels wet, I don't water. If it feels dry, I do water.
It's that simple.
It's that simple.
It's that simple. So how do we know when it's time to move them from the indoors to the outdoors?
So they will sprout like the plants that we have over
All
here.
these, yeah.
Yes. So the seeds that you see over there, those are them just a few weeks later. I know.
Wow, a few weeks later.
A few weeks
That's
later,
very
yes.
fast. All right.
But all of these want to be moved outside after the last frost date in spring. And
All
that's
right.
going to be different for everyone's specific location.
Okay.
Now, since they've been babied a little bit inside, you don't want to just kick them outside in one day. You want to go through the process called hardening off. So putting them outside for a little bit of time each day, maybe start with 30 minutes, the next day an hour, next day 90 minutes. And you can do that about 7 to 14 days before they're ready to go outside and live in your garden.
Bethany, gardening is so much easier than I thought it would be. Thank you so much for teaching us how to start our spring gardens.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Hey tuners, be sure to follow Bethany on social media for more gardening tips.